So, John, in part one, you gave us an understanding of art, which is really good, in depth, philosophical. So, in light of that, is there any way that the artists can have a better life, or can the artists do better as we collaborate in 2015? Is that clear?
Within what context? You mean Newark?
In the context of, you can say Newark. We could talk the USA. We can talk internationally, because the artists, the terrain doesn't change.
No, the terrain doesn't change.
So, I mean, we're doing this series and we're talking about, well, we need to communicate more as artists. We need to come together. We need to collaborate. We need to create incubators. But it seems like that's not going to take away the tension of what the artist has to do, the true artist.
I mean, I think part of it, the terrain doesn't change, but the context in which the terrain is presented does. The context changes in regards to how it's perceived, how it's presented, in what ways we have access to the terrain, to extend the metaphor. But I think also a part of it, to broaden it out some more, part of the tension is the fact that we live in such a market culture, market morality, more and more, visibility within the public sphere, the adoring of, the cultivating of images of celebrityhood and whatever, and, people wanting that on whatever level. So,
which is not true artistry, I like to add.
No, true.
Not all the time.
But then also, acknowledgement is a basic, basic human need, to be acknowledged for, what it is that you have to offer. Truly. There's nothing wrong with that within a certain context. Now, obviously, if you put it within a capitalistic society, then yes, the market morality and the market code, then now it gets skewed and it gets real perverse.
Skewed is a good word.
So, I think, I'm trying to think, I love quoting others. Amani Perry, professor, I think she's at Princeton. Now, she was, had spoke on a recent panel discussion about people's tendency to bring themselves out of the oven not fully cooked, and by that she meant, putting yourself out there when you don't really know what it is that you want to say. And who you want to say it to. You just want to be out there. Even if you do have talent, again, the craftsmanship and that's when, again, the actual work comes into play, and there's nothing romantic about it. It's the work that, if you're a writer, you write regardless. So whether it's either you write or you die. And by death, meaning, death has many degrees, meaning that you're somebody else. You're not that. If you're an artist, whatever your artistry is, you have to produce it, whether it gets acknowledged or not, or you're somebody else. That's just what it is. But not knowing the basic, what you actually really want to say and who you want to say it to. It's just, I'm out here. Look at me.
Now, I want to add something, because I think about this a lot of time. And I feel that Malcolm and Martin were artists in a sense. But I feel like that the intuition, their heart was so strong that they really didn't have a finalized plan in terms of an artist. But they went out there because of that impulse. And this is what we speak about. A lot of time we have this impulse. We know that something needs to be done. We know we have innate skills that we need to put out there. And so we just go running out there, and a lot of times get beat up over the head, or we can't put the product out there or the artistry out there correctly.
You see,
that's just my feeling.
I always thought that up when you say, of course, that they're artists in the sense, artistry in regards to being an orator.
Yes.
The oratorical skills. Malcolm and Martin. They both on different degrees, but from Douglas all the way up.
I need to go back. No fair.
Literally,
right.
Being written, and I bring up Douglas again. It's one of the names that is thrown out there, but people don't really understand how bad, as elitist as they come, but how bad that man was in regards to being able to speak. To where, for what I read, it would make Obama seem like, no disrespect to Obama.
No
disrespect. Frederick just on the fly, but
we're talking.
What's funny with Malcolm one, when you say in regards to a finalized plan, there's nothing final about. I'd use this loosely, the situation that black folks
No,
are
we
in,
understand.
whatever. It's very multifaceted, especially in regards to identity. Um, are you familiar with existentialism?
Not thoroughly, no.
Uh, French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre. Basically, it's existence preceding essence. In other words, we create our own values. Everything that means anything to us, it comes through us. We create it. It begins and ends with us. So when we die, everything goes along with it. And Sartre was he was famous for saying, if there ever was an existential people, it has to be the American Negro.
Wow.
They have nothing else to go off of. So there has never been what made chattel slavery so distinct from all other aspects of slavery. It's the fact that never as a whole people been removed and told to basically do over. Just you hear it, you hear the cliche lines cut off about culture and lineage and heritage and yada yada yada, and it's spoken upon within a monolithic context as if, we can't. But you hear that all the time, but never stop to really think about that, like being told to just do over from scratch. That's unprecedented. It can never be done again, and it wasn't able to happen beforehand. It happened just at the quote unquote right time. So with that alone, there's nothing finite, but just in life in general. Like in philosophy, you ask questions or learn to get the answers to certain questions so you can ask better questions, more penetrating questions. And so you bring up Malcolm. An interesting fact that a lot of people don't know about Malcolm, and Manning Marable spoke upon it in his the last biography, Life of Reinvention. Malcolm loved to read Hegel, a German philosopher, Martin Hegel, who, his bodyguard was interviewed by Manning Marable saying that instead of going home to Betty, he would go to, I forgot the famous bookstore in Harlem, he would sit and read for hours and hours. Hegel is most famous for is something called the Hegelian dialectic. Frantz Fanon took from him a great deal. Mm-hmm. Meaning that I'm only as human to the extent that somebody else that I recognize as human sees me as human and reciprocates that. And I'm paraphrasing loosely. Frantz Fanon talking about imposing one's humanity upon the other. That's where Malcolm came towards the end, saying that it was a human rights issue.
And you can clearly hear that in the philosophy as you say that.
And he says, and he was, to quote him verbatim, you got to give a white man a chance to step outside of himself. And then one time he made a joke saying he probably won't do it, that you got to give him a chance to step outside of that monolith of whiteness. Give him a chance to understand what Baldwin called the price of the ticket. What does it mean to be white in America? Just to know that they're white and understand that, I can't be human, because again, humanity resides in reciprocity recognition, and that's very much, it's categorized as Hegelian. It's nothing new, but in a Western sense, Hegel, and he read a great deal of Hegel, and I think my theory is that's where he got that from. But again, Hegel is very, very, very dense. But the slave master dialectic, in regards to the slave the master can't do to the slave what he hasn't already done to himself.
That's serious.
Yes. So we are in this shit together. Part of my being crude, but yeah.
No, it's all right.
Yeah.
Again, all that's good stuff.